Here.
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 Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda is approved. Item number 3, presentation and introductions. We have 4, approval of the minutes of April 28th.
Moved.
Second. Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are passed. Request to be heard once again. Bylaws, we have a maximum of 15 minutes. Each person is allowed 3 minutes. Please come to the podium, state your name and address. We are going to give Aaron Zella. Elizabeth Wright, and please state your name. last one for tonight, Shoto Spring. Tonight's public comment.
Mayor Spooner?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda items 6A through 6J.
I'll second.
A through 6J, motion by Ross, seconded by Roland.
Aye.
All opposed? Those are passed. Public hearings tonight, we have none. Items for discussion, resolution 2026-138, approval of the conditional use permit for multifamily lot on block 1. Zoning manager Harry Davis, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. So the item in front of you is a resolution for a conditional use permit, and that would be to allow a new multifamily building, standalone use on property at 105 River Chase Court. The property is currently owned by the city, but it is in talks to transfer that land to a developer. They're submitting this just to make sure that their entitlements are all in place once they own the land. The property, it's located here just in relation to downtown and Highway 60 and I-35. This is the site in particular, so this would be River Chase 2. River Chase 1 is just on the other side of River Chase Court. Same developer. It's 79 units. It would be within the Central Business District, which is part of why this requires a conditional use permit. Central Business District on its own does not allow a multifamily structure. There are a few other things that are included as a part of this. The maximum height for Central Business District is actually 3 stories, and there is a requirement for the number of units based off of the floor area for the structure. You can request a allowance to go higher and to have different density, which is the other part or the other 2 parts of this conditional use permit. So really, just to summarize, the conditional use permit covers the fact that it's a standalone multifamily structure. It also covers the fact that it's requested to be 4 stories, when the maximum would be 3 stories. And then in terms of density, there are some, there's a limitation based off of the size of the building that would say 69 units would be the maximum. They're asking for 79. And then there are some changes in terms of how they are looking at some of their unit sizes, where they are slightly lower than our minimums as required by the central business district. All that is covered within a conditional use permit, so no variances are being requested. This is the project. It's kind of this, dogleg looking building that'll be in some ways mirroring what River Chase 1 looks like. The architecture and the aesthetics of the building will be very similar as well. There'll be quite a number of spaces associated with River Chase 2. Some of these spaces will end up serving River Chase 1, particularly the garage spaces. They just found that having these garage spaces was a bonus to the River Chase 1 patrons. In terms of the conditional use permit itself, we do feel, from staff's point of view, that the requirements are met for approval. It won't create any incompatibility issues. It's very similar to River Chase 1. And Willow is a very sizable street that can handle the additional traffic. The Planning Commission did unanimously approve or recommend approval of this project to City Council, and there was no public comment aside from the applicant at that meeting. So staff is recommending that, and I do apologize, it would be City Council approve Resolution 2026-138, which would approve the conditional use permit. With that, I'm happy to take questions.
Can you bring up the map, the land use map with the central business district?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
So is there any reason why we continue to have this? I know this is a longer term question. Have that, I mean, we've got apartment buildings there. Could we look at just getting that out of the central business district unless there's some compelling reason? Jessica thing, a David thing?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, it's a really good question. It is probably more of a longer term discussion to figure out what is an appropriate zoning district for some of these multi-family structures that we're seeing come through, especially within the central business district. There are some advantages. There are very reduced setbacks. There's also not as much of a density limitation versus, say, like the R4 zoning district. So there are some advantages to going this route that the applicant is utilizing as a part of it. But I think that this is probably a longer term question about how our zoning district set up for success with multifamily, and how does that work in terms of just across the board with our commercial districts, with our existing residential districts. It's a really good question.
Okay. And then one other thing, more for the public's knowledge, is this market rate or subsidized?
It is market rate.
Okay, nothing further.
Mayor Spooner? Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-138.
Second.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is the second reading of this ordinance. In terms of the ordinance itself, staff did not make any substantial changes to the ordinance since you last saw it at the previous City Council meeting. So we are again recommending that you approve the zoning text amendment. I'm happy to take questions.
Okay, again, for audience clarity, if we do nothing, now listen to me carefully, if we do nothing then anybody can put a data center anywhere at any time. Minnesota land use, the way the legislature set this up, is that in very limited cases can you deny the building of something on somebody's land. It's very narrow. That's something that has to be taken up with the legislature, right? So the thing is, I get it that some of you want, or maybe all of you want a moratorium. That may be a possibility in the future, but today we're putting the guide rails in because if we do nothing, it's going to be a bigger problem, right? I don't think it's the city council versus you guys. We just can't publicly say what our positions are because of litigation, okay? So at least cut us a break a little bit on this. That's the first point. So we're doing this to put the guardrails in. The best example I can give you is we have a similar thing with strip clubs. If our city in 1970 didn't put in guardrails for strip clubs, they could be put anywhere, okay? Is that what you want? I don't think anybody in this audience wants data centers everywhere, okay? So that's what we're deciding today, to put the guardrails on. The other key piece is, regardless of what we do here today, it has no bearing on the Archer data centers because that was before today. This is to protect people and the community moving forward. So with that,
Beautifully said.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just to follow up on Councilmember Rowan's statements, because there does seem to be confusion on what we're approving tonight. Right now, the Faribault City does not define a data center as anything. So therefore, a developer could come in and, call his data center anything and, we'd have to go with it. We also have no limitations on where the data center can be placed. In other words, right now, the city of Faribault has a very wide open door with no limitations on data centers. What we're approving tonight defines it and narrows it down on specifically what a data center is, and it specifically states where they can go. We're not making this easier tonight for a data center to come in. We're actually narrowing the window or the door and making it more difficult to come in. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the comments my fellow council member have made, but I also have different opinions on this. Passing this tonight is a good thing, but also it can be exploited by other people. They can look at this definition and get us to start the process of starting a data center in Faribault. So for that reason, I choose to listen to our resident. I'm not in favor of the starting of the very beginning because I believe that it can be used as a starting point as we move forward.
And just to add to that, I understand we need 5 out of the 7 in favor to make this pass. Correct?
Summary publication. And so this just takes a majority of 4 of you to actually approve the second reading. But if 5 of you do not approve the summary publication, we have to publish the entire ordinance in the newspaper.
so to your point, just understand what you're voting for. If this fails, I could buy a house. I could buy the land next to your house, and I could put a data center in. Just so you know that. That's really what you're saying here. That's not in the public's best interest, convenience, or necessity. I do respect your opinion. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, just one thing that I wanted to add to all of this, because this was kind of one of the things from the last meeting in the moratorium language. If this passes tonight,
Harry and planning staff will be working on some of those design standards right away. That's one of the things that I think is not something that a moratorium needs to be in place for development of. That work can happen right away. And so I don't know how quickly it will happen, but ultimately that is what we have decided internally as staff, is that if this is approved, that work doesn't need to wait until there's further discussion of a moratorium.
Mayor Spooner?
Yes, Mr. Ross.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-06.
I'll second.
Councilmember Barnes,
Abstain.
Jim Bouya,
Nay.
Ross,
Aye.
Rowan,
Aye.
Buncelus,
Aye.
Steele,
Aye.
Mayor Spooner.
Summary publication of ordinance 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion. Resolution 2026-118, rejecting the bid for Viaduct Park Phase 2 Storage Garage.
Something's happening where it's not, you have two monitors in your office, then you're going to have to drag it over.
There you go.
We received 3 bids.
Thank you, Mayor. Director, this is about the size of a double garage. Correct. Right? And maybe it needs a little bit of extra cement on the floor, you know, for thickness due to some heavier equipment or something. I don't know if it was gonna be made out of block, but that'd be reasonable. But how did a double garage basically get up to 600,000? I mean, is this thing trimmed in gold and have Trump's name on the front or what? Thank you. Now, I have no doubt that we have the, you know, the people, the horsepower to oversee this, but do we have the staff time? No. Well, I definitely thank you for going to a plan B, C, or D, or whatever we're on now. Thank you very much for bringing this.
May I call you Rochelle? It's much shorter. Thank you. I actually reached out to you over the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, and you responded. So thank you for your dedication on that. But I was thinking I'll try to help her out maybe and see if we could even utilize a Connex box. I know sometimes you can convert those. It's just not the right size. So thank you for relooking this, or resetting and relooking at it again. Hopefully we can find a resolution. But thanks also for your dedication. Mayor Spooner.
Yes.
I make a motion to reject Resolution 2026-118.
Second.
Hold on. I think that verbiage is right. You're approving a resolution that says to reject the bids.
Approve it?
Approve.
Make a resolution, or a motion to approve Resolution 2026-118. Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Boards, commissioners, reports, announcements.
Yeah, just a reminder that tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the Washington Recreation Center will be our next council chat, where we'll be talking about elections, which we are just about ready to kick off the filing process. So City Clerk Heather Schlechter and 2 council members, as well as some election judges, will have more insight into the elections process, and hopefully we'll be recruiting some candidates as well as some election judges.
So move.
Second.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.